Stjernholm Reviews. Making hi-fi great again and saving the wildlife habitats of the world. Join our Patreon and take part while enjoying all our exclusive listening session, early releases, and much, much more. Stjernholm Reviews. Your sound, your music, your planet.
I promised you the choice. If you're here, you came for the red pill. So welcome back. So, maybe you already had the blue pill. Maybe you saw the specs and you felt the build and you heard the amazing sound and you saw the DSP features and you thought, well, this is it. This is the one. And it very well could be for many audiophiles. But are you ready for that red pill? Damn.
It's one small step for man.
In reality, how much you end up loving a product doesn't really live on feature lists and spec sheets. It lives in daily use. This amazing Eversolo DMP-A10 preamp streamer digital audio processor is designed to be everything for any audiophile. And that could be a problem for those of you more impulsive music lovers and the librarians seeking inspiration among you. Before we get to it, a huge thank you to our corporate as well as our individual supporters helping us making hi-fi great again and supporting nature preservation around the world. This is what the Silverback listening team and I work for. You know who you are. And without you, this mission of independent reviews and not having to turn off the music on YouTube wouldn't be possible. So, thank you guys. Join the mission and get all the goodies in return by visiting Stjernholm Reviews on Patreon. Eversolo updated their software several times in the last 3 months leading up to this review. That's actually the main reason for delaying it. They fixed some things, they improved others, they even cleaned up the app more. So credit where credit is due, they're really trying. The version at the time of the review is 1482. But despite all that effort, the problems are deeper than bugs. Because the core issue isn't a glitch, it's a lack of user experience-driven philosophy that proves itself from the moment you want to stream something from your favorite music streaming app. There's simply no network standby function, so the DMP-A10 simply can't be seen and switched on by you by wanting to play something. It simply doesn't show up in that app. The only way to wake it is via a slow wake on LAN command through the Eversolo app, of course by turning the unit on. It really makes no sense in service of the music lover. It's a cumbersome extra step and waiting time. For example, look at this. Other streamers will be ready to serve even in standby, and the best of them simply just boots and starts playing what you asked for. That's why I take interest in what I call time to morning radio. It's a nice little test to show if something is fast and easy to get the music going when you're dead tired and just need to take your morning piss instead of playing computer engineer. In essence, I believe that a hi-fi product should feel like an appliance, serve you and urge you to play more music. It should be ready when you are. You press play, it plays. I mean, your grandma's radio did that. A one-button press and you were on the right station, right? One button to morning music. That's it. But with Eversolo, nah. You get complexity, and with that complexity, you get less service and emotional connection to your music. You might have to dig through layers of menus just to find your favorite station or playlist, assuming you even can, because the favorite homepage could overlook things like internet radio. Kind of proving a lack of attention to detail in development since everything else is included. Eventually, little bugs like that will be fixed, of course. It's easy to fix, but it's still just a huge oversight, proving my point. Supporting many services in modern streaming products is great, and you can even disable those you don't want to be using. But it's done several places in the interface instead of being a central decision you can make for the unit to reflect the stuff you currently use only. Say, maybe at initial setup. It's not just a matter of taste. To me, it's a total failure in user interface fundamentals, to be honest. Designing a great user experience is admittedly super hard. It takes extreme discipline to get it perfect. And failure in consumer software, it starts the moment you're designing to serve a feature list instead of a strong design principle with user experience in focus. Sometimes egos stand in the way of challenging design decisions. Sometimes it's simply unwillingness to take the hard road to the best result and challenge what you're doing all the time. And the fact that simplicity actually requires a lot of intelligence. When you design a user interface like that from the outside in, you end up with something messy, but a product that might be able to do everything.
Everything!
But it's achieved in one big dysfunctional patchwork, making you feel like you're constantly fighting with it. The moment you enter the software, you feel it. It's cluttered. It's cluttered logic, multiple layers, duplicated paths, options that are hidden deep, and no clear user journey. You can feel Eversolo is really struggling with their own decisions. That's why the app has changed multiple times already, because they too are overwhelmed by how much this thing is supposed to do. Interestingly, in daily use you actually feel it does less, because it does not do the very fundamental things you need, like a appliance. And then there's the Android Foundation. And while that may offer a quick starting point for development, it usually ends up being the limiting factor, adding complexity that can't be bypassed. Yes, the Eversolo will also crash from time to time when you're interacting with it. Another example that the A10 should be able to serve with extreme honors is CD ripping. Imagine how perfect it could be for it. One of the best on paper, in fact, as you got dual NVMe storage capable of holding 8 terabytes of files internally. That's enough for more than 12,000 uncompressed CD rips. I mean, it could be the endgame ripper/server, but it's not. 2.5 minutes to rip the Mark Cohn CD here. And look at that. I finished. I have to say, okay, great. What now? One more tap to go back. Imagine that. It's just do it. And then I have to press the eject button. That's 2 taps. And now I have to okay that. That's 3 taps. That was totally unnecessary. Worse, the extremely important metadata lookup is quite unreliable. It's clearly not using the Gracenote database, the one service that gets things right almost 100% of the time. Instead, you get bad matches, missing artist names, blank or even wrong album art. And here I even mean some pretty well-known albums like mainstream titles just flat out missing. So ripping CDs? Well, the feature exists, but it's still a waste of your time in real life. And for those buying a DMP-A10 for that very purpose, it could end up being a major disappointment. Let's remind ourselves here that it's not a mystery to mankind how to make a great CD ripper. It's one of the few things that the Cocktail Audio X45 does really well. It's a simple one-step process, and you have a perfect rip and metadata using Gracenote license. Even the old Sony Hapset 1, 10-15 years old, is a perfect ripping machine with Gracenote for life built in. The root cause of the problem simply being Evernote not willing to pay for the service or offering an alternative way for the user to pay for it. It is a focus on financials instead of user experience, something that could potentially cost you a lot of time and effort redoing all your work. And that's the pattern that keeps me from really falling in love with this otherwise magnificent hardware again and again. The Eversolo can theoretically do everything.
Everything! Everything!
But it treats you as you are its little bitch. You simply don't flow with the product, and that constant friction builds up, making your also rip open. As a music lover, I feel it in the way I simply do not reach out after it first when there's other options available. It's a pity, since it's such a great piece of hardware that in theory could be the absolute hub of all your music needs and replace everything. Just add a power amplifier and you're good to go, or a pair of great active speakers. The good news is that it seems like Eversolo is starting to release more and more software updates, making the product better. Things like automatic switching to the internal player when needed is now a thing, and these at least are the biggest one for me. So who is this machine really for? It's clearly not for people looking to rip their gigantic CD collections in perfect quality and explore them in new ways. For that, you should get a Cocktail Audio X45 and potentially use it with a Eversolo for the DAC and preamp duties. If you're the kind of person who enjoys tweaking, who doesn't mind lazy complexity, who's excited by the idea of workarounds and spending time building your perfect setup, then sure, the DMP-A10 might be your playground. But if you value ease of use, if you expect your gear to serve you, not the other way around, this is going to wear you down, unless you do like 90% of the users and simply let it serve as an endpoint for Roon, Tidal, Cobus, and maybe that occasional DSD file playback while you look at those spectrum meters and cover art. The DMP-A10 is one of the most flexible machines out there, and the hardware and functionalities is done to a very high audiophile standard. The hardware totally rocks, but the software experience needs a design rework, starting from the user experience and not from a feature sheet. I wish I could love it. I wish that it urged me to play.
Well, you can wish in one hand and crap in the other, and see which gets filled first.
But in everyday life, it's annoying to use. No matter how much I admire the engineering, the Eversolo DMP-A10 remains a product that becomes hard to love. The good news is that Eversolo really has the potential to rethink it with a better software version and major updates if they choose to do so. And that's the real red pill, folks. Because when you see past the specs, past the praise, past all that promise, what you're left with is a machine that in some aspects just still doesn't feel finished. And bro, if you don't like to hear that, then grab the blue pill review instead. And remember, the truth always reveals itself when we just listen.
I could do this all day, I could do this all night, all month, all year, for my whole entire life. Who you know got a home but seem to live on the road, looking like a black gypsy in a caravan of bros. Music for the people, I used to rap on the train. Now I rap on the stage and I'm used to capital gain. I ain't asking for change, I'm good at coining the phrase. What I want is more than ever and never to fade away. Is that too much to ask? Good, cause I ain't asking. Already into action, I had your answer retracted. So stay about my business, it's crowded enough with me. You added is just a witness I'd rather not even see. I'm good with the folks around me, get from around me before we commence the clowning. Yeah, keep it on the level, yeah, keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the ladder while you in need of a shovel. Don't give it to me easy, I like a little challenge.